Good evening, I'm Andrew Chang. Adrian is away. Tonight, despite claims of inappropriate behavior, the Liberals clear an incumbent to run.
That's pretty devastating to me, that I've raised concerns over the last more than a year and a half.
What Justin Trudeau said about it today. Also tonight, Afghanistan under Taliban control.
I think now it's good for Afghanistan.
New reaction from Pakistan to the US and Canada. After Ida, we're on the ground in Louisiana.
Most people are injured and killed because of the response, not the storm itself.
And with a fourth wave rising, we're talking vaccine boosters.
I think they're coming in our future at some point.
When might you be eligible for yours? This is The National. We're starting tonight with allegations against an incumbent Liberal running again, brought by a woman who says he acted inappropriately towards her. Raj Saini denies any wrongdoing and has been green-lighted to run by his party. Tonight, you'll hear about that from his leader, who from his win in 2015 through the Me Too movement has talked about the need to support women. Ashley Burke shares exclusive new details on this story tonight.
Our friend and our Prime Minister, the Right Honourable Justin Trudeau.
Raj Saini has been a Liberal MP since 2015. This election, the party gave him the green light to run again, despite allegations of inappropriate behaviour towards 4 young female Liberals during his time in office. Multiple sources said senior Liberals in the Prime Minister's office were first made aware of a claim in 2015.
It's disturbing to me.
This former staffer filed a complaint with the Canadian Human Rights Commission last year and is upset he's allowed to run again.
I would say that's pretty devastating to me, knowing what I have gone through and that I've raised concerns over the last more than a year and a half.
She accuses him of touching her thigh on more than one occasion and making unwanted sexual comments. She alleges that in one instance, an angry Saini pushed her against the wall. She says she hit her breaking point last March and tried to kill herself by overdosing in Saini's office. At the time, she says she called him and texted him about it.
I just remember being incredibly stressed out, feeling completely helpless. I felt there was nowhere for me to turn.
She says Saini called for help and she spent time in hospital. Afterwards, she repeatedly contacted Saini demanding he apologize and threatened to sue him or go public if he didn't. In a statement, Saini denies any wrongdoing and said, "I have never acted inappropriately towards staff or constituents." In fact, he said he got police involved for his own safety and says he asked the House of Commons to conduct a workplace review that he says cleared him. But the complainant alleges she wasn't allowed to take part in that because she was on sick leave and then dismissed.
Everyone deserves to have a safe workplace.
While announcing a mental health policy, CBC News asked Trudeau why he's allowing Saini to run again.
Just to be clear, are you saying that you believe your candidate and not the women?
I have said that Mr. Saini has shared the processes. There have been rigorous processes undertaken that he has shared the details of. We know that it is extremely important to take any allegations seriously, which we certainly have.
Okay, so Ashley, what are the opposition parties saying about all of this?
Well, the Conservatives call it a pattern of the Trudeau government covering up and looking the other way at these kinds of allegations, while the NDP said that Trudeau is refusing to live up to his words and is protecting powerful men and undermining the women who have come forward with serious allegations.
Okay, Ashley Burke, thank you.
Thank you.
Quebec Provincial Police issued an Amber Alert tonight for a 3-year-old boy they say was abducted in St. Paul, about 6 hours north of Montreal. Now, police are looking for Jake Cote. The boy is thought to be with 36-year-old David Cote. He is described as being 5'7", 180 pounds. Police are also looking for a gray ATV. Okay, to Afghanistan now, where the sun rose without U.S. boots on the ground. The U.S. president addressed his nation to defend the decision to withdraw.
It was time to end this war. This decision about Afghanistan is not just about Afghanistan. It's about ending an era of major military operations to remake other countries.
After 20 years fighting to remake Afghanistan, it has come full circle. Here's the country before the U.S. launched its war on terror, and this is Afghanistan now. Back then, The Taliban ruled with an iron fist. Now flush with captured arms and equipment, they are the present and likely future. Susan Ormiston is in the region watching the Taliban triumph and also the anxieties of a country scarred by war, facing deep challenges.
Extraordinary images. Taliban leaders claiming their territory. America's final outpost, Kabul's airfield, taken last night. Taliban fighters in U.S.-supplied uniforms congratulated today for defeating a great power. The U.S. aggression was a reckless act from the beginning, says Zabiullah Mujahid. This day, a lesson for other invaders. The damaged airport, not operational, is now the Taliban's job to fix. They may need technical help from the Turks or Qataris.
We had a team ready to fix this mess ever since we came to Kabul. Now that the Americans have left, we are ready to clean it up.
Left behind, dozens of U.S. aircraft in a hangar, decommissioned, still a tour of the spoils of war, symbolic for the Taliban all the same. But in Kabul, the shifting power has deepened an economic tailspin. Long lineups at ATMs, depreciating currency, rising food prices, with many salaries still unpaid. We don't want a foreign country to be in our homeland, he says, but we need bread and water. Afghans already impoverished. The U.S. government had poured $500 million in aid into the country last year alone.
In Afghanistan,
the UN's Babar Baloch says a humanitarian crisis looms.
This is not the time for the world to walk away from Afghanistan. Our engagement will be there with the Afghan people, and we hope that they get the protection that they deserve, and also that the world will not abandon them.
In neighboring Pakistan, the foreign minister says the Taliban will stitch together a new government within days. Shopkeepers at an Islamabad market told us they welcome it.
So you think it's good for Afghanistan that the Taliban is ruling?
Yeah, good. Taliban, good. Hukumat. Pakistan support.
With the war ending, they say it's good for cross-border business.
I think Afghanistan need alone government, so therefore I think now it's good for Afghanistan.
But many Afghans don't trust the Taliban, who today staged a mock burial of NATO countries while at the same time urging good diplomacy with the world. A lot of fear still, especially from women, dreading a new all-male government with hardline leaders expected to take up powerful positions. And worried, too, that now the evacuation is over, the world's focus will dim, leaving 39 million Afghans inside a country unable to pay its bills or provide for its people. Susan Ormiston, CBC News, Islamabad.
Joe Biden is the fourth U.S. leader to preside over the war in Afghanistan, and now the last. As Carolyn Dunn explains, while Biden didn't frame the war as a mistake, he said it was driven by false assumptions and had lost its value for the U.S. long ago.
I was not going to extend this forever war, and I was not extending a forever exit.
U.S. President Joe Biden marked the end of his country's longest war with a vision for the future.
And I've been clear that human rights will be the center of our foreign policy. But the way to do that is not through endless military deployments.
Initially a response to the terror attacks in New York and Washington on 9/11, it morphed into a 20-year security and nation-building operation.
We prevented Afghanistan from ever becoming a safe haven for an attack on the United States again. And in the process, U.S. forces, coalition forces, our NATO allies, and our Afghan partners made a lot of progress in that country.
But that progress is in peril. The hardline Islamist Taliban is poised to govern the country. The violent faction of ISIS that killed more than 100 Afghans and U.S. soldiers is determined to disrupt all of it. So many Afghans are left wondering whether any of it was worth it. Like an Afghan American named Sarah, who remained stuck in Kabul and spoke to CNN on condition of anonymity.
And I'm an American. I'm a formal interpreter. I worked for 14 years. And what is next for us? We just smelled the death.
The U.S. has promised to work international diplomatic channels to get U.S. citizens, foreign nationals, and Afghan allies out of Afghanistan. But critics of how the mission ended are concerned there's now a power vacuum, one that could be filled by ISIS or worse, including former Marine and CIA case officer Elliot Ackerman. He figures the U.S. could end up getting drawn right back in.
America might be done with Afghanistan. Sadly, I do not believe that Afghanistan is done with the United States.
But from now on, the U.S. says it's prepared to take military action on any threat in Afghanistan from a distance, with no boots on the ground. Carolyn Dunn, CBC News, Washington.
Now, there are reportedly about 100 U.S. citizens still left in Afghanistan. But Foreign Affairs Minister Marc Garneau revealed that the number of Canadians stranded in the country is far higher.
We estimate that at the moment there are roughly 1,250 either Canadian citizens, permanent residents, or family members that are in Afghanistan.
Ottawa is calling on the Taliban to reopen the airport in Kabul as soon as possible to allow those stranded to leave. The government also touted a plan to resettle 5,000 Afghan refugees in Canada who were airlifted out by the U.S. Now, while Afghanistan became an election issue very suddenly, the discovery of unmarked graves earlier this year brought the horrors of residential schools to a new level of national awareness. And as Olivia Stefanovich tells us, many Indigenous voters want to hear more from the campaign trail about reconciliation.
So we mounted that cross in the middle of that circle.
Ed Bitternose points to a monument marking the spot where the residential school he attended once stood.
So it would be a memory that we would never ever want to go back to that time.
Bitternose is now preparing to search the surrounding prairie for burial grounds, an issue he wants to hear more about on the campaign trail.
The federal politicians should be addressing their thoughts on these findings that are happening across Canada and what is their response.
We had a ceremony.
A concern the Assembly of First Nations is putting to the parties.
We need healing for our communities.
National Chief Roseanne Archibald is calling on leaders to offer more support to address the trauma triggered from the discoveries.
It's been an ongoing assault, if you will, on our culture and our languages, particularly our children.
Liberal leader Justin Trudeau says he would keep a previous commitment, more money for residential school searches.
To make sure that Indigenous peoples get the justice.
NDP leader Jagmeet Singh is making a similar pledge, but vowing to do more.
We should be working with Indigenous communities as nation to nation.
While Conservative leader Aaron O'Toole is promising economic opportunities.
I'd like to see more partnerships, more equity stakes.
There might be graveyards there.
Still, Bitternose feels the issues important to Indigenous communities are being overshadowed.
It makes me feel very sad.
Bitternose says he hopes he'll see a change in the next few weeks, and his people's priorities will get the attention he feels they deserve. Olivia Stefanovich, CBC News, Ottawa.
For some Indigenous leaders, bringing attention to those priorities also means endorsing First Nations candidates. In Manitoba, the Assembly of Chiefs is backing a Liberal candidate who is Indigenous.
I think that it's time for a fresh start in the North, and I absolutely support Shirley Robinson in her candidacy.
But what really turned heads was that the endorsement was made right in front of NDP leader Jagmeet Singh, who was there in support of his party's candidate, who is not Indigenous. 75% of the riding's population is First Nations, Métis, or Inuit. Now, our reporters have been traveling with the main party leaders throughout this election campaign. Tonight, we check in with three of them, starting with Tom Perry, who's with the Conservatives tonight.
Looking to sell his as the party of sound financial managers, Aaron O'Toole pledged to take a disciplined and measured approach to the economy and to balance the federal budget within a decade without slashing spending.
We will grow the economy so that we can get back to balance in a responsible and equitable way without cuts.
The Conservatives are banking on the idea that after a year of record deficits, Canadians are eager to begin reining in spending and lifting their country out of the red. O'Toole's message, they can trust the Conservatives to do it, and painlessly.
I'm Travis Danrash, traveling with Liberal leader Justin Trudeau, who was once again the target of protesters, first as his motorcade left the Sudbury airport, then later on at an event. Earlier today, he announced a plan on mental health supports, $4.5 billion, and the creation of a mental health transfer to provinces and territories.
This funding and this new transfer will mean everything from shorter wait times to more mental health professionals on the job.
Trudeau ended his day here in Toronto, where tomorrow, 19 days in, he'll reveal his party's platform.
I'm Nick Boisvert with NDP leader Jagmeet Singh in Greater Vancouver. Today, more promises to make housing more affordable. Taking aim at serial house flippers, Singh proposed a 25% hike on the capital gains tax, which applies to the sale of things like stocks or investment properties.
We want to get big money out of housing. So if someone here in Port Moody Coquitlam is looking to buy their home, they shouldn't have to compete with people with deep pockets that are gaming the housing market like a stock market.
The NDP thinks that message will resonate in ridings like Coquitlam, Port Moody, where house prices have surged. The Conservatives beat them by just 153 votes last election, the closest race in the country.
Well, let's turn to Canada's pandemic story and new COVID-19 modeling from health officials in British Columbia.
We are likely to see a gradually steady increasing number of cases over the next month, but not at the rate that we were seeing our daily maximum during the second and third waves of the pandemic. And that's because of the protection that we're seeing from immunization.
Dr. Bonnie Henry called the fourth wave the pandemic of the unvaccinated and said case counts are growing in areas where vaccine uptake is at its lowest. That includes BC's interior region. It accounts for just 15% of the population, 1/5, but half of the province's current cases. Special measures were in place as students in Montreal's English school system returned to school today. All students required to wear masks at all times, and they'll be separated by grade at recess. As well, filters have been added to the ventilation system at some schools. Well, thousands of students in Alberta will also be back in class tomorrow. And as Aaron Collins shows us, precautions vary quite a bit from school to school.
An annual tradition with a pandemic twist. This year's school supplies complete with COVID protection.
Okay, here's your hat.
Always.
And your mask.
Still in the midst of a fourth wave, this school year comes with risks.
It's Jax that I worry about because he's 11 and he's a small for his age and he has a heart condition.
Just like last year, masks are mandatory at public schools in Calgary and Edmonton. Cohorts and social distancing are back too.
With 1,000 new cases of COVID every day, you know, this is the prudent, cautious measure.
But protocols to keep kids safe at school aren't universal across Alberta, the province leaving it up to individual school boards to decide what to do. Masks aren't mandatory everywhere here at Weber Academy, but they have beefed up their COVID surveillance, including this high-tech temperature reader that sets off an alarm anytime anyone with a fever walks by. Kids returned to class at this Calgary private school last week. It's up to them if they want to wear a mask. No distancing or cohorts either. The focus here, getting back to normal.
We very much agree you have to start living with this because it may not go away in our lifetimes, and so it's time to really adjust.
Well, how long this new normal can last depends very much on the virus, and some worry that as Alberta's schools reopen, the fourth wave could pick up steam.
The worst possible situation for spread is an indoor space where there's a large number of people for a long period of time, and that pretty much summarizes what schools are.
A return to class more risky for young kids unable to be vaccinated. The province gambling that its youngest residents won't get too sick at school. Aaron Collins, CBC News, Calgary.
Now, another difficult reality for students and teachers going into the new school year, the impact of the pandemic on children's mental health. Because, as you'll hear from Wikidopia, research from across the country is showing alarming levels of depression among Canadian kids.
Since her recent move to Canada, most of Wadad Hashmi's schooling has been online.
I didn't see much, like a lot of people. I didn't talk to a lot of people, so kind of was always isolated on my own.
New friendships helped, but those too suffered under the strain of school closures.
You don't know what to talk about. You don't have that much really close friends, so it was hard and stressful.
Harder for some children than others across Canada, according to multiple surveys and studies. In Ontario, a year-long study of more than 2,000 kids found symptoms of depression more than doubled. For children under 12, it was about 50%, and for those 12 to 18, it was about 70%.
Myself and my colleagues actually have been surprised each time we look at the data. In fact, they're much worse than we would have anticipated. It's really quite striking how negative the impacts are.
Their research also found mentally, kids from poorer families did worse. Online socializing didn't necessarily improve the situation, neither did loosening public health restrictions. The National Crisis Line Kids Help Phone has also seen a substantial increase in young people contacting them over the past year with feelings of anxiety, stress, and depression.
I don't think it's going to drop at all. We're already seeing an increase in the number of conversations that we're having. And, you know, we're seeing more and more people reach out.
I can't tell you how many appointments I did. Everybody was in bed.
This psychiatrist has been helping students and schools prepare for next week. But she says the pandemic has disrupted so many mental health supports, school, friends, and families, she can't say what to expect.
I don't think we actually know what there'll be because there's very few comparisons from history that we can quite draw.
Still so much uncertainty ahead.
It's stressful, but I think I could handle it. I don't think it's that hard.
And yet a will to push on. Wikidopia, CBC News, Oakville, Ontario.
Well, rescue efforts are underway in Louisiana for those stuck after Sunday's massive storm.
I was mopping and then it just progressively got worse.
Coming up, the people who decided to ride out the hurricane still facing a dangerous situation. Plus, is it a mod or a fraud?
I like the style. It's typically Nova Scotian.
One couple discovers their cherished art could be a fake. And behind that laughter is a heartwarming story of lasting friendship.
I knew that Franco had the audacity and the capacity to do something this generous.
We're back in 2. Welcome back. The remnants of Hurricane Ida have now moved northeast, but for millions in the southern U.S., the devastation is just beginning. Ida's path of destruction forced many from their homes, and with no sign yet of when they may return. Chris Reyes shows us the danger's not over.
Flooded streets, people rescued by boats. More than 1 million in Louisiana and Mississippi now without power and water.
It was bad. It was the worst thing ever. It was the worst thing ever. I got my baby out though. I wasn't gonna stop till I get my baby out.
We saw that tree swaying back and forth, and then about 5 minutes later, the whole thing just snapped and fell over there on the house.
After Hurricane Ida slammed the state on Sunday, emergency officials are now concerned about the dangerous conditions for recovery efforts. Louisiana's governor sending a clear message: don't come home.
The schools are not open, the businesses are not open, the hospitals are slammed. There's not water in your home, and there's not going to be electricity.
At least 4 deaths have been linked to Hurricane Ida. Half of those in Louisiana, but the governor predicts there will be more.
I expect that number's going to rise. But historically, we know that most people are injured and killed because of the response, not the storm itself.
In Lafayette, Louisiana, rescue crews are getting some reprieve after a full day of helping people out of their homes.
Most of the houses had up to a foot of water inside of the homes.
Corporal Brandon Fontenot and the Louisiana Wildlife and Fisheries crews performed more than 200 rescues in Laplace and Lafitte including helping this woman out as her house was filling up with water.
They made the 911 call. They decided, they didn't feel safe there anymore. They were afraid of not being able to get access. So the water you're looking at is actually the roadway. So, and you can also see on the house the water mark. So where those bricks are a different color, that's actually how high the water got.
Okay, so Chris, some rough conditions for both rescue crews and evacuees in the region. But what are some of the challenges they are facing down there?
Well, Andrew, I'll tell you this. It took us about 6 hours to drive into this area from Houston, Texas, and that's because all flights have been canceled out of the main airport in New Orleans since Sunday. All the hotels in this area are mostly fully booked. When we were driving into this staging area where most of the first responders are, the street lights were out. We saw downed trees. But as they say in disasters, always look for helpers, and there's certainly plenty of them right here. In fact, I just talked to a Salvation Army rep. They delivered 10,000 meals today and 20,000 meals tomorrow, and they expect to ramp that up in the days ahead. Everybody here, from the ambulance units to the people running the communication towers, there's a kitchen back there where they're preparing meals. They all know that this is going to be a months-long effort to get things back to normal.
Okay.
Andrew?
Chris Reyes in Gonzales, Louisiana for us tonight. Thank you. Now in California, jury selection began today in the highly anticipated trial of Elizabeth Holmes. The disgraced founder of the company Theranos is accused of defrauding investors and patients by falsely claiming her company could run a wide range of tests from a single drop of blood. Holmes has pleaded not guilty.
I'm Mike Richards, the executive producer of Jeopardy.
Well, Mike Richards is out as the executive producer of Jeopardy. He had recently come under fire for offensive comments made in the past. Earlier this month, he stepped down as the new host of Jeopardy, replacing Alex Trebek. Richards will also no longer produce Wheel of Fortune. Well, when stores finally reopened, we were expected to spend like crazy, but some decided to hold off.
I'm putting on upgrading my laptop and I guess getting my own apartment.
Coming up, are we scared to spend or just unable to? Why Canada might be in a deeper hole than we thought. But first, some countries are already quite widely administering a third COVID vaccine shot, a booster. Should Canada do the same? Dr. Zain Chagla is here to weigh in on the debate next. Booster shots. Do we need them or not? The U.S. has already made clear its position. Boosters already encouraged for those with compromised immune systems.
It's a true statement that we believe sooner or later you will need a booster for durability of protection.
They've administered nearly 1 million boosters to date, and they want to make them available to all Americans starting September 20th. Israel is doing much the same, offering most citizens a booster starting 5 months after their second dose. So, with the highly transmissible Delta variant threatening a dangerous fourth wave here in Canada, what should we expect about whether boosters are in our near future? Well, here to answer that question, infectious diseases specialist Dr. Zain Chagla. Hello, doctor. So the question, are they necessary or not?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're coming in our future at some point. And you want to look to places like the United States and Israel in terms of what's the same about their vaccine campaign and what's different? Well, we largely did use mRNA vaccines, so that really does say, there is a waning effect. And we've seen that even in the long-term data from Pfizer and Moderna. But you also see that effect really in people that got the dose on time, so that 3 to 4 weeks after their first dose. And largely the people that were vaccinated first. So Israel showed that people that were vaccinated in January and February had a little bit higher risk of breakthrough infections as compared to people who were vaccinated more recently.
Right, but so let me jump in though, because when you talk about waning immunity, how urgent is that problem? Like, how much is protection actually waning over the course of several months?
Yeah, and this is where it gets really murky, right? We are seeing breakthrough infections amongst individuals that have gone to that January, February mark from vaccines. But we haven't necessarily seen a significant rise in severe disease, people who require hospitalization, people who need the ICU, and people who die from COVID-19 who have gotten vaccinated in that January, February piece. And so this is where the fields are a bit murky. The United States' suggestion is, well, there may be a waning of that initial immunity, the one that protects you from just getting infected, it's only a matter of time before you have loss of protection against that severe immunity. But a lot of immunologists and infectious disease physicians will say, you know, it's not clear yet when that part is going to wane and really what the solution is. Do we vaccinate now? Do we vaccinate in a few months? Do we wait for a newer vaccine series to come out? Or again, do you just give it to vulnerable individuals who are at higher risk and let the general population wait a little bit more until you get better data?
But if we primarily have safety in mind, I guess my question is, you know, why wouldn't we follow the example of a place like the United States or Israel and kind of err on the side of caution, right? It wouldn't the prudent thing be to get boosters into as many arms as possible so you avoid any problems down the road?
Yeah, and I think, you know, again, prioritizing groups like those who are elderly, who have the most risk of having a dysfunctional immune response, those who have major immunocompromising conditions, similarly, who have the highest risk of having a blunted immune response, it makes sense. And we are starting to roll this across Canada. That general population piece, though, you know, the investment of millions and millions of vaccines in Canada, United States, and Europe into groups where we're not sure if they're even at significant risk of severe disease after a full vaccine series, even being low risk to begin with if they're younger, it starts bringing up questions, especially when we haven't vaccinated a significant amount of the world. And again, there is a vaccine shortage for many countries where this is going to be felt even more when richer countries take millions of doses back to vaccinate their population.
Okay, so then here's the crystal ball question to finish off. When should the Canadian general public expect to have boosters recommended to them? And for that matter, how often would they have boosters recommended to them?
Yeah, so I mean, I think somewhere at about the year mark, most people may be offered their third vaccine. And the question is, again, what vaccine? Pfizer and Moderna are developing variant-specific boosters, and perhaps that may be the solution for us as compared to revaccinating ourselves with the same vaccine. The timeline, you know, is really dependent, and the long-term response is really dependent on what happens. We're obviously in a new world here, but you know, I think we will likely see more and more data come out from places like Israel, from places like the United States, to really say what this means from a logistical standpoint, from a sensitivity standpoint, and again, how to really balance this on the cost-benefit of the world and when to do this appropriately.
All right, Dr. Shagla, very interesting chat. Thank you so much for your time.
No problem.
Well, the federal Conservatives have argued against a carbon tax for years. Now they've included one in their platform.
The Conservatives federally cannot get elected without a credible climate plan.
Coming up, why the party has done a 180 on that issue. Plus,
once the restrictions got a little looser, felt like I just went crazy with all the money I had.
Economists have said that pent-up demand will drive this country's recovery, but what's taken so long? We'll explain next. Welcome back. With the federal campaign in full swing, any pocketbook issue is bound to draw attention. Well, today that came in the form of new numbers showing the economy shrank in April, May, and June. Cameron McIntosh shows us why and what the leaders had to say about it.
The signs are literally out there. A reopening economy trying to build back. Fewer restrictions. Out on the street, a lot of people do say they feel pent-up demand, like Iqbal.
Once the restrictions got a little looser, felt like I just went crazy with all the money I had.
But others like friend Tala Sabur, not ready to spend yet.
I'm putting on upgrading my laptop and I guess getting my own apartment.
Turns out this spring, many Canadians were sitting on their wallets. While many economists were predicting growth, the economy actually shrank 0.3% from the first quarter as the third wave of COVID swept the country.
Ever-changing regimes of restrictions simply kept a lot of people away from the tills. While the global semiconductor shortage hurt exports and sales of many big-ticket items, particularly cars, that could go into next year.
This is an important moment for Canadians to realize that semiconductors are vital to the new economy, and they underpin everything.
But by far the biggest influencer, the housing market. Lots of buyers, not enough sellers. Resales and all the associated fees underperformed this spring.
I think the takeaway here is that the recovery is going to be longer than what we had previously expected.
Because our economy is bouncing back
On the campaign trail, Justin Trudeau insisted the economy is on the right track. His opponents disagree.
We are heading further down the road of recession, not the road to recovery.
It's about the type of economic growth that we want.
There are bright spots. Household income and savings are up. But over a year, if these trends continue, it could lead to a larger 1.1% contraction. The fourth wave looms.
There's a bit of a fear towards, like, I guess the pandemic, this is big unknown, right?
He'll sit on his wallet a little longer. Cameron McIntosh, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Now, for many years, the federal Conservative Party has argued against a carbon tax. But things are different this election campaign. Now the party's offering a plan of its own. Kyle Bax looks at the details and what's behind it.
How we doing there, guys?
At the doorsteps, candidates hear all types of questions.
Hi there, how are you?
Including about energy and environment.
What are your main concerns? Well, the main concerns, of course, are making sure we continue to decarbonize.
Criticizing the idea of a carbon tax was a Conservative focal point in the last decade.
How's the other side doing?
Now, an abrupt turn. The party may not call it one.
I'm Greg McLean, I'm the member of Parliament.
But it's campaigning on its own version of a carbon tax policy.
I think it's an evolution for parts of our party, but there's also many parts of our party that have been pushing forward for environmental solutions of all types.
The Conservative plan targets gasoline and other fuels. Money from those sales would be collected in a personal carbon savings account, which people could use for green purchases like a new bike or efficient furnace. Some experts say the Conservatives needed to turn the carbon tax issue into a strength.
The reality is that the Conservatives federally cannot get elected without a credible climate plan.
Every major federal party now supports some form of a carbon tax.
Credit to Aaron O'Toole for putting forward a plan, and all parties have a plan now, and I think that is the exciting part.
But not everyone is convinced the party will stick with the policy, especially if it doesn't win the election.
I think a lot of Conservative supporters will turn and look to this policy as a reason as to why. So I think a lot actually does hinge on the result of this election in terms of the carbon tax debate.
Critics from outside the party say the proposed tax rate isn't high enough.
Hi there.
Hi. For now, on the doorsteps, the Conservatives hope the climate issue is no longer a sore point.
Okay. Thank you. See you.
Kyle Bax, CBC News, Calgary.
Now, even with plans to fight climate change federally, action at the municipal level matters too. Earlier this summer, we showed you one Nova Scotia town that wants to do something no town has yet done in Canada, achieve net zero on its emissions. Kayla Hounsell brought us that story.
So this is the heat pump that we had installed.
Martin McLaren jumped at the chance when his town offered to help set up a greener source of heat.
Our house was heated with the electric heat and it wasn't very efficient.
It's just one of the ways the town of Antigonish is trying to go green, 100%.
It's attainable and we know it's attainable.
The mayor says right now 84% of Antigonish's energy is renewable. She admits her town has a head start because it has its own electric utility. It also owns a wind farm, which generates 40% of its power.
That's 40% we didn't have to buy off of another company. So that enables us to make sure that we're going green.
The town is also planning to install electric vehicle chargers and solar gardens. The mayor says all of it will not only help this community achieve emissions goals, but the entire province and the country.
One person can make a difference, one block can make a difference, one town can make a difference. We're not a very big town, but this is transformational.
The next move is targeting the biggest emissions producer here, St. Francis Xavier University.
We double the size of the Antigonish area when our students are back in town.
The university has already installed solar panels and geothermal heating in new buildings. The problem is its central heating plant.
We use a very dirty fuel source. It's run by bunker C oil, 2,500 vehicles off the street if we could get rid of it.
The plan is to build a new plant powered by the wind farm and hydroelectricity. Most of the plans help the pocketbook too. McLaren says his heat pump saved him $500 in the first 4 months.
I think it's great. It's a great thing, for the small town that we are to try to be leaders within our country.
There are other Canadian communities with similar goals. Antigonish is happy to be in the race and welcomes healthy competition for the greater good. Kayla Hounsell, CBC News, Antigonish, Nova Scotia.
Well, paintings from folk artist Maud Lewis have risen in popularity over the years. Unfortunately, so have the fakes.
I would suggest they get it authenticated.
Coming up, how one couple got duped into buying a fraud plus. A friend's generous surprise and the reaction that blew up the internet. Stay with us. The CFL's Edmonton Elks have released a player for breaching the team's COVID-19 protocols. The team says offensive lineman Jacob Rudy will no longer be with them. The announcement comes as the Elks end an isolation period following a COVID-19 outbreak that affected 13 players. Well, the art of Nova Scotia painter Maud Lewis is loved by people the world over, a popularity that has only grown in the 50 years since she died. But that may have attracted the unscrupulous side of the art world. John Tatry has the story of a couple with a treasured work that might be a Maud fraud.
For years, this Maud Lewis painting took pride of place in the Corbett household. When they lived in Ontario, it was a sign of home. But not these days.
I like the style. It's typically Nova Scotian in the animals that she presents, the watering ideas that she presents.
The Corbetts paid $5,000 for this painting at a Calgary auction 16 years ago. Similar works are now selling for $15,000 to $20,000. Some newly discovered Lewises in Britain recently fetched $60,000. But the Halifax appraiser told them theirs was not likely a Maud, but a fraud.
Absolutely devastated.
He named a couple of things. He talked about the way the horizon was done was atypical from his exposure to it. He said typically the seagulls, their legs typically are black. These aren't.
Ian Muncaster has been appraising artwork for 50 years, but the Corbett painting seemed off.
And I looked at it and I said, I think there's something is not right.
He contrasts that with an authentic Lewis in for framing.
This painting has all the right things. It's got a good signature. The color's right. You can see where Maud sketched it in pencil underneath.
The Calgary auction house shreds its records after a decade. The person who sold the painting has since died. The auction house does offer refunds within 14 days of purchase. The Corbetts urged potential collectors to be skeptical.
I would suggest they get it authenticated. There is a certification of authenticity.
Maud Lewis painted in this house for decades, creating thousands of original artworks, including the ones displayed here in the Art Gallery of Nova Scotia. But experts say since her death in 1970, fraudsters have been busy creating hundreds of fakes. Maud Lewis's work is famous for its childlike innocence, but telling the Mauds from the frauds is bound to cause grown-up grief for years to come. John Tatry, CBC News, Halifax.
Okay, next on The National. One friend's surprise that gets a touching, if not hilarious, response.
It's like Franco's a unicorn. It's not something that happens in reality.
But it did, and the internet applauds. Our moment is next. Well, these friends in Thunder Bay have been friends for 27 years, and they are just blowing up the internet right now, all thanks to a video that they shared. So the backstory is this. Franco Daniele hadn't seen his friend, Jamie Mendex, since the pandemic started. But while these friends were separated, Franco took the opportunity to install a surprise in his home to make it more accessible to his friend. Their reveal is our moment.
It took like maybe 6 weeks to get it installed over the pandemic for like parts and stuff.
I couldn't process it. Like, I knew that Franco had the audacity and the capacity to do something this generous. Like, nobody builds an elevator for their disabled friend. It's like Franco's a unicorn. It's not something that happens in reality. So I started laughing uncontrollably and I could not stop. Like, for minutes, I got all the way up to the 3rd floor and I was still laughing. I've spent like hours combing through the responses, and I just can't believe how kind and empathetic and sweet people have been. It's overwhelming. It's like experiencing the event for the second time.
The reaction was worth everything.
It was basically just a chorus of laughter from all of us for minutes on end.
As we do on our normal occasions wherever we are together.
And so look, to do this in your own home, just so that your friend can visit, that's a heck of a gesture. And like I said, these friends go back a long ways, 27 years strong. But boy, you know, Franco says that the silver lining, if you want to put it that way, of the pandemic was that, you know, Jamie had no reason to come over because of the pandemic. They had to kind of physically stay away. So he had all the time in the world to make that elevator and get that reaction that we could share with you here on the program. So that's The National for this August 31st. Have a great night.